Welcome to this week's edition of Ask WWN. This is episode number 18 in our podcast series. I am the host of this official podcast, Michael Burgess. Remember, you can send us your questions at askwwn@worldwrestlingnews.com via email. Tweet us at WWrestlingNews, and of course, using our official hashtag AskWWN. To get us started, we are going to kick off with some Michael Hayes news. Time to cut the bait with Michael Hayes? Well, with the recent suspension of Michael Hayes, do you see the WWE finally firing him? I mean, he has been suspended once before for calling a Mark Henry a racial slur. How many second chances is he going to get before the head office releases him? Well, let me catch you up on speed, and I'll answer the question. You know, Michael Hayes was suspended for 60 days by WWE in April of 2008 for using a racial slur in front of Mark Henry. I have no problem with that suspension, as racial slurs should not be tolerated, and I feel WWE acted accordingly by sending a message. However, I do not understand the second suspension and feel there has to be more to the story. You know, according to former WWE creative writer Court Bauer, Hayes was suspended after being seen drinking with Rosa Mendez at a bar. And of course, I understand that Rosa Mendez has a history of substance abuse, but why should it matter if two legal adults are having an alcoholic beverage at a legal establishment? If they were making a scene and embarrassing the company, that's one thing, but to suspend someone for having a legal drink makes no sense. There are plenty of people that shouldn't drink that still drink. You know, the entire ordeal makes no sense at all. As for Hayes getting fired, this incident, from how I understand it, does not warrant a suspension, let alone present probable cause for termination. WWE will not confirm the suspension and will only say that Hayes is away for personal reasons. Our next question, how many times per year does WWE conduct wellness testing on superstars and divas? Well, the wellness policy states that all talent is randomly tested a minimum of 4 times annually due to the random selection process of the testing. That number could increase as the company does not announce when they are conducting tests. And of course, you can read all about the policy on the corporate WWE website. Our next question, can you see Ricardo Rodriguez ever being more than a ring announcer / manager in his feud with Alberto Del Rio? You know, Ricardo Rodriguez is a trained wrestler and actually wrestled at this week's SmackDown taping. Given the fact that he is a trained wrestler and actually wrestled this week on SmackDown, of course I could see him being more than a manager. However, I will remind everyone that thinks he should immediately be repackaged into a permanent in-ring performer where he is better suited. You know, as a manager for top workers such as Alberto Del Rio or Rob Van Dam or another forgotten talent about a storyline, Ricardo has a good spot in WWE and is fortunate to have the role that he has. Our last question, out of the 3 members of the Shield, who do you see having a successful singles career? Well, you know, I think that they all 3 have the potential to be huge stars as single performers in WWE. If I had to rank them, I would rank them in the following order: Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. However, I wouldn't be one bit shocked if Reigns accomplished more than Ambrose. You know, these guys have it all, and they just get it. Their stars are very bright, and I see all 3 having prominent roles in WWE over the course of the next 5 years. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Ask WWN. Remember to tune in next week where we have an all-new episode of Ask WWN. And remember, if you have any questions, tweet us your questions at WWrestlingNews. And of course, remember to use our official hashtag AskWWN. And of course, you can also throw us an email at AskWWN@WorldWrestlingNews.com. But for now, this is the owner of WorldWrestlingNews.com signing off.